years to the day from the September 11, 2001 tragedy. The events of that day bring us together, and I'm certain that we can all recall exactly where we were and what we were doing that morning. September 11, 2001 was actually my election day to the United States Congress. And 15 years ago, I returned to a Washington that was much different than it had ever been in the history of our country. I remember arriving in Congress and marveling at the unity among the members of Congress in the weeks after those tragic events. It wasn't about being a Democrat or a Republican. It was about being an American. We all banded together all across this great nation. Ordinary men and women rose up and did their part to help our country through that difficult time. And while Congress in recent years has become a place of highly partisan contention, I'm encouraged that the House this week joined together to vote on the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act. On Friday, the House passed this bipartisan piece of legislation unanimously, as one body, as one people, following the Senate's passage back in May. And thanks to the passionate advocacy of the families of the victims and survivors of September 11th, this legislation is headed to the President's desk ahead of the 15th anniversary of September 11th. Congress moved forward a bill that could help families and survivors who have been fighting to bring justice to those who aided in the murder of thousands of their loved ones on September 11, 2001. That bill, the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act, will allow those families to recover against any individual, organization, or country that aided and abetted the attacks on September 11th. And those investigations continue to proceed. While the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act will not answer all of the questions that remain, it is an important step forward, ensuring that justice is served and will provide a more complete history of the September 11th attacks. Not only of what happened that day, but also the events that led up to those attacks. Over the years, I've had the chance to meet with families who lost loved ones on September 11th. Time and again, I've heard the calls for a full accounting of the circumstances surrounding those attacks. For the spouses, the children, siblings, and parents of 9/11 victims, they're seeking truth. And they want to bring to account all those who were responsible for those attacks on September 11th. So as we reflect on the September 11th attacks 15 years later, we must also seek a measure of justice for those we lost, for their survivors and for their families. I believe it is our duty as Americans. In the days following September 11, 2001, we promised the survivors and the loved ones of the Americans we lost that we would hold those responsible accountable and seek justice on their behalf. The Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act is another step towards fulfilling that important promise that we made to those families, to our loved ones who we lost. It's fitting that we're here with so many from our first responder community. We lost 125 military and civilian personnel at the Pentagon, 41 EMTs in New York City, 72 law enforcement, not only from the New York Police Department, but also Secret Service and other federal agencies. Of course, we lost 343 firefighters. It went up the stairs when everyone was fleeing. I was appointed to the Committee on Oversight Investigations when I first got to Washington, right after the attacks. And one of the most stunning pieces of evidence that we found, we gathered all the radio transmissions of that day to try to figure out exactly what happened from moment to moment at the World Trade Center in New York. And one of the most stunning pieces of evidence that we found was a transmission from from the 88th floor. Firefighters and EMTs, police officers who were on the 88th floor of the South Tower of the World Trade Center. They had climbed that 88 floors in the smoke and the heat, and in all that was going on that day in an effort to rescue office workers and others. Together,